experts in the field.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we have just had a lovely dinner at Shiri in Lindi, Malawi. And we were very honored to have the president of the Blantyre Rotary Club, Peter Nkata, and I would like to introduce him all to you and let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Well, thank you very much. I am Peter Nkata, the president of the Rotary Club of Blantyre. And I've been in Rotary for more than 16 years now. Most projects in Rotary in Malawi have been involved in 4 areas. These are areas of water and sanitation, areas of maternal health, areas of education, especially children education, and things related to the water, drinking water, safe drinking water. And in the last few years, we've had to drill and sink a lot of boreholes in a lot of places in Malawi. Mostly the deep boreholes, which are more than 50 meters deep, so that they make water available throughout the year. Because there are some boreholes which can be very shallow, and these are dug up to 20 meters deep, but they would only be functional for about 6 to 7 months of the year. The most critical part of the year will be when it's dry, and that's the time when people will be looking for water. Otherwise, they will walk long distances to fetch water. And therefore, I suggest that if there's any project to be done in this area, which is quite high, a deep borehole should be considered. I always say cheap is expensive. You can get a very shallow borehole, which might be much cheaper than the borehole we're looking at, but long term it becomes expensive because it's not functional, it's not working, it defeats all purpose. During the rainy season, people might have other sources of water, and during the dry season, don't have water, people have to walk long distances. So it's better to provide an expensive one-off borehole in an area of that nature, which will be 45 up to 50 meters deep, and you are assured that you're going to have water throughout the year. I have the experience of boreholes because I've been involved in providing boreholes to a lot of schools, a lot of homes, and a lot of communities.
Through your job.
Through my job, and also through the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
And therefore, I know that what is being offered here is genuinely good price and genuinely good product. In this case, this project will still be done through the Rotary Club of Blantyre, to be supervised through the international community or Rotary Club of Blantyre, coordinated by what we call the local community which looks after the project. The international community will look at the money coming in, and thereafter it will be handed over to the local community to look at the project. And I would be involved in supervising the project. I stand down as president of the club towards June, July, but I'm still in the club, and I'm still advisory to the cabinet of the club and to the incoming team. And I'll make sure that in terms of this project, I'll have a personal interest to make sure it succeeds, because it has been discussed in my time as president, in my presidency, and I'll make sure that this project succeeds. It should be supported, worth about 8,000 United States dollars. I think it's worth a type of money to go into, and it will save a good catchment area in that place throughout the year. That's what I would talk about Paul at this point. I hope it's enough.
No, that was very good. And a few things that we were interested in knowing is about your Rotary Club in Blantyre.
Yes.
So you have about 30 members.
Yes.
And there are 5 Rotary clubs in Malawi.
Yes, there are 5 Rotary clubs in Malawi. They're spread throughout the country, and the biggest is in the central region called Lilongwe. It's big because of the diplomats and the UN NGOs in there. But the Rotary Club of Blantyre has got about 30 members. It is the oldest club in the country and probably the oldest club in this part of Africa, because the Rotary first of all came to South Africa. From South Africa it came to the current place called Zimbabwe, which was Rhodesia at those time, and from there it went into North Africa. But coming back, it came back into to Blantyre, to Malawi. So it's a very, very old club. Started in the late 40s, early 50s. It is definitely a very, very old club. And
what is the makeup of the club members?
The makeup of the club members is really varied, but mostly people who are in business, people in the banking situation, in the banking, the lawyers, in academics, that type of makeup.
Okay.
And it is a club of 30 members, which is, I would say, very unique in its spread of the membership. The various categories are represented in the club, and it works very well.
Oh, no. Well, Father Philip and I were honored to be guests at the Rotary meeting, and we were very impressed with your members. And I think that Malawi is kind of a land of contrasts. So you're not expecting, when you're out in the mission, out in the countryside, out in the bush, and then you come to this big city of Blantyre and this beautiful hotel and, you know, all these very professional people at the Rotary Club, you know, and it's just kind of surprising, you know, because I think you said an interesting thing at dinner about how many million people are in Malawi.
Yeah.
12?
Yeah, I would say 12, 13, 14 million people in Malawi.
12, 13 million people, and 2 million.
And 2 million are in, I would say, in gainful employment. Of that 2 million, probably 1 million don't pay taxes because they are below a tax limit.
Yeah.
And of that, I would say a good half of that, probably the balance of it is Malawi government civil servants.
Yeah.
So there's a very, very small population of people which is working to be in a position to pay taxes to support the whole government. But yes, you're right. The composition of the Rotary Club of Blantyre is quite varied, and it makes it very interesting in terms of the various ideas coming in and the suggestions on the various projects. So we've got experts who will be involved in water, experts in education, experts in health, experts in banking, and things like that, which is what basically Rotary encourages, and that's what Rotary wants to see happening in these countries. And we've got all that knowledge within the club to do much bigger projects if funds are available. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's impressive about Rotary worldwide.
Correct.
That you could go anywhere to any club and you would find people that are dedicated and, you know, really working for the good of the people.
True. It's a big family.
Yeah.
And I think it works very well. The issues about the project is, as a Rotary Club, you are allowed to do 4 projects at a time. So for the sake of speed, certain projects have got to be done directly from the donor club so that they bypass this number of 4. Otherwise you can be in the queue for many, many months or even a year before you can get to the end of the project. So if a club wants to raise the full amount of money of the project, they can directly on their own do that project without a matching grant through the Rotary Club of Blantyre. So it's to oversee the project. We don't have to put it into the system of those 4 projects, which I think is another thing I would encourage you to do for the speed of the project that you want to do.
Good. All right, well, thank you so much. We appreciated meeting you and spending the time with you both at the Rotary meeting and tonight at dinner, learning more about Malawi and especially about this project. So we're looking forward to Joliet Rotary working with Blantyre Rotary, making our world little bit smaller.
Yeah. I thank you.